Hello, wonderful people. I'm Dane Peterson from Wonderbot Animals. And here is, this family got a big surprise when they adopted a new dog. Before we begin, make sure to smash the like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos. Hughes and Mariesa Caliguire live just outside of Cleveland, Ohio. They have dedicated their lives to helping animals in need. They understand that animals need love, support, and a place to call home. They've been able to share their home with so many wonderful animals. While this couple is normally able to adopt animals without a hitch, they ran into some trouble when they adopted a dog with a serious medical condition. Chris and Mariesa had to act fast to save this new member of their family. Hughes and Mariesa Caliguire worked together to save dogs who have been abandoned or abused. Their shared passion for helping animals has brought them closer together as a couple. They got their first dog, Moses, early in their relationship, and since then, almost every aspect of their lives has revolved around caring for canines. It started with one dog, a furry friend named Moses. One dog turned into two dogs turned into three, and by 2013, they'd adopted 8 dogs in total. These dogs were all different ages, breeds, colors, and sizes. They kept Chris and Mariesa's lives very interesting. Chris and Mariesa started to think that they shouldn't be keeping all of that fun and excitement to themselves. That's when they got a brilliant idea. Chris and Mariesa had so much fun watching their dogs learn, grow, and play that they thought other people should enjoy that too. They started their own online reality show called Life in the Doghouse. It took a few years, but eventually their YouTube channel gained a loyal following. People would subscribe to the channel to keep up with all of the chaos in this house full of dogs. Mariesa and Chris definitely had their hands full with a whole household of dogs, but they weren't quite ready to say that their family was complete yet. They talked regularly about bringing another dog into their home. They knew that there were so many dogs out there in the world who needed homes, and their home had turned into a dog's paradise. Chris and Mariesa got to work researching different kennels and looking into the dogs that were available for adoption. In the fall of 2013, the couple drove over to the Cuyahoga County Kennel, where they saw literally hundreds of sad puppy dog faces. Mariesa wanted to take home each and every one of the dogs, but she knew that realistically, they only had room in their home for one more animal. There's something special that happens when you see your dog among all of the other dogs in an animal shelter. Of course, you want to take all of them home, but when you see your dog, the thought of leaving the shelter without them becomes unbearable. As soon as Chris and Mariesa saw Story, they knew she was theirs. The three of them shared an instant connection, but there was something different about Story. After taking one look at Story's enormous, swollen belly, Chris and Mariesa knew that she was pregnant. The staff at the shelter told the couple that Story was expecting 6 puppies any day now. The staff member said that she thought Story was actually overdue. The puppies should have arrived already, but for some reason, it was taking them a while to decide that they were ready to come out. Mariesa and Chris didn't know what to do. They really wanted to help Story, and it didn't feel right to leave her at the shelter, but they already had so many dogs back home. They wondered if they'd be up to the challenge of taking care of 6 puppies as well as their mother. Could they really handle this adorable pit bull who so desperately needed their help? What about her litter? Even though they knew it would be difficult, Mariesa and Chris just couldn't leave the shelter without Story. They decided to take a leap of faith and welcome Story into their home. Once they arrived home, they introduced Story to her new brothers and sisters. All of the dogs were very excited and happy, but pretty soon Story started showing signs that she wasn't feeling well. Chris and Mariesa thought that Story might be feeling lethargic because of her pregnancy. Story had been pregnant for a long time, and she was probably very uncomfortable. After doing some research, Chris and Mariesa learned that sometimes, in high-stress situations, dogs can refuse to give birth. They were worried that this was happening with Story. Mariesa and Chris treated Story's declining health as an emergency. They got in the car and rushed to the vet. Story clearly wasn't feeling well. She was whimpering in the back seat during the whole car ride. All of the other dogs watched Story, Chris, and Mariesa drive away. When the vet first saw Story, he was seriously concerned. He thought that there might be something wrong with the puppies or with the pregnancy in general. The vet set up an ultrasound so he could take a look at what was going on inside Story's belly. Chris and Mariesa hoped that the ultrasound would give them some answers. They hoped that the vet could help Story give birth safely. What they saw in the ultrasound completely surprised everybody in the room. The staff member at the shelter had said that Story was most likely pregnant with 6 puppies. When the vet looked at the ultrasound, he couldn't believe what he saw. He could clearly make out not just 6 puppies, but 12 individual puppy bodies. Those puppies needed to come out soon, or both Story and the puppies could be at risk for some serious health complications. Mariesa and Chris thought that Story might need a C-section, but the vet informed them that a surgery like that would be too dangerous. It was all up to Story now. She had to deliver her puppies on her own. Chris and Mariesa did everything they could to make Story feel comfortable. They left her alone for the night, and what they woke up to the next morning was unbelievable. When Chris and Mariesa woke up in the morning, they saw that Story had given birth to 12 beautiful puppies. It was almost as though Story was holding on to her puppies until she knew that she was in a safe space. Chris was so happy to see that Story and her puppies were happy and healthy. Now Story could get some well-deserved rest. Chris hugged Story because he was so happy that she was okay. Now that they knew Story and the puppies were healthy, Chris and Mariesa got to work figuring out how they were going to handle 12 puppies and 9 dogs. Now they had 21 dogs in their house, which was way more than they bargained for. Even the most experienced dog owners and dog trainers would have trouble taking care of that many dogs. Chris and Mariesa were working around the clock to keep their home in order. Chris and Mariesa realized that they were in over their heads. They knew that they couldn't keep all 12 puppies. They worked hard to make sure that each of the 12 puppies could go to a loving home as soon as they were old enough to leave Story. Fortunately, the couple's YouTube audience was quick to scoop up each and every one of the little dogs. Chris's best friend Ryan saw that Chris and Mariesa were overwhelmed with their 9 dogs, plus he had developed a special bond with Story. Ryan offered to adopt Story so that Chris and Mariesa could have a bit more space. The couple happily accepted, and Story made way to her new home. They would still be able to see Story anytime they wanted, and they knew that she was in a good and loving home. It had been a crazy few days. Chris and Mariesa were so busy dealing with Story and her pups, they barely had a minute to themselves. But right when they were starting to relax, Chris asked Mariesa something that really threw her for a loop. Chris asked Mariesa to marry him, and she very excitedly said yes. A few months later, they made their commitment official in front of all of their family and friends. Of course, they had their dogs at their wedding ceremony. Their dogs are part of their family, and they couldn't get married without them. Maybe they'll have a kid, or 12, of their own in the near future.